So relationship grows. It's an organic thing. It takes sometimes a very long time for it to be real, for trust, safety, and security to exist. Now, as soon as that exists, the traumatized person will remember and grieve. As soon as the person feels safe. You don't have to have tricks. You don't have to have methods. It happens automatically. That's what the human spirit does. If I don't have to be in survival mode, then I will remember and grieve, because grieving is the natural human response to irretrievable, irreconcilable loss. You know, you've been screwed. You've been ripped off. Face it. You can only say that when there is a container of safety, security, and trust. So the other two phases we don't have to worry about. Now I think MDMA, for example, since it's an empathogen, it opens one's heart, it presents one. For the first time, some people feel no shame. Victims usually feel more shame than the perpetrators. So here is a substance that suddenly, for the first time in your life, makes you experience what it's like to be with another human being and not feel ashamed. Opens your heart, and you see, you have empathy for the other person, the therapist. And if the therapist is genuinely harmless, if the therapist really deeply knows that I am not going to do anything to you, no matter what, then that communicates in that state to the other. And for someone for whom it may take 3 to 5 years to trust the therapist, actually feel safe and trust the therapist within an hour. And that's unforgettable. MDMA is not like LSD, where there is state-specific memory. A lot of things I learned in the LSD state, I forgot when I came into ordinary state of consciousness, only remembered when I went back to it. That's like a drunk. Sometimes will only remember what happened last night when he gets drunk again. It's not so with MDMA. Whatever you really learn and realize, it's permanent, it stays with you. Now that doesn't mean that later on you don't have to work on freeing yourself of habits that you have shackled yourself with in order to survive. So it's not the end of the line, but the therapeutic alliance deepens, and the container in which the person can flourish is real. So I think that all these things have to occur to the future psychedelic therapist. Can't just say, well, I know this exists, I know this is how it should go, but I myself never experienced it. Like, that wouldn't be convincing. What would be counterindication, either for selecting a therapist or a patient? I just want to give you one example, which is if I suspect that somebody is in such a mess in their life that there is such responsibility on their shoulders, they are so stressed that they might take the occasion as an option to never resume their life as their life was before. That is to basically commit suicide through LSD or MDMA, basically deciding that there is the chance to decide, I don't want to come back. I'm going to go crazy. If I have a sense, an intuition, that somebody might use the occasion for this kind of escape from their lives, then I postpone doing psychedelics with them until their life changes, until there is some indication that they want to go back into their life. I'll close by saying the very first time I met R.D. Laing was in Vancouver. he was talking to professionals, and he asked the question of, are you a healer because you are, or is it an ego trip for you? Is it, being a therapist, being a healer, gives you a certain kind of power? Are you here because of an ego trip? At that time, that was in 1974, I didn't know. So that's why I went over to England and worked with him to figure it out. I asked him how to become a healer. He said, either you're born one, or you have to apprentice with one. Well, I chose to apprentice. Thank you.